Welcome to a course on complex analysis. In the previous lectures, we have seen the concepts of complex differentiation. With the help of complex differentiation, we have examined the concepts of analytic functions and the related theorems and problems, the ideology to construct an analytic functions. This is what we have dealt in the previous lectures. In this lecture, we are going to introduce the concept of complex integration. But before getting into it, we are in a need to study a few more things related to the derivatives, and that is what we are going to exactly explore in this lecture. Come, let us begin. As said, the topic that we are about to see in this lecture is derivatives of the function w of t. Okay, so derivative of functions w of t, what it is? Actually, we have seen this w is a function of z, where z takes the form x plus iota times of y. Therefore, this w takes the form u plus iota times of v. And when we closely observe these things, this u is a function of both x and y plus iota times of this v is also a function of both x and y. We had things of these sort, right? So with those ideology, we have explored all those things. But what if both x and y are functions of t? That is, your x is a function of t and y is also a function of t. So in that case, your z may be treated as a function of t. This is x of t plus iota times of y of t. So when you apply this function to this function, actually, this z is a function of t now. When you apply the z value, this entire thing may be treated as a function of t. Okay, here if you closely notice, you can very well notice that here t is the only independent variable and rest of the things are dependent variable. But here, this is not real valued functions, right? Maybe your x and y are real valued, and when you split these things, your u and v are real valued, but together, when you see this w of t is a complex valued function. Okay, this has some real part and imaginary part, but both in terms of t, right? So, in this case, what? When you try to find out the derivative that is based on t, okay, so this is what, and this is what we write it as w prime of t. So this w prime of t is going to be simply u prime of t plus iota times of v prime of t. Okay, so this is the main ideology. When we parameterize the given things, okay, sometimes we may be in a need to parameterize things, which means we'll convert every variable to depend upon only a one variable. Okay, so we do these sort of things. Now let us do some derivation. I think we have a space here. Let me do here. Okay, so first of all, so when you do this, from this what you get is your w of t is u of t plus iota times of v of t. Consider this as equation 1 and this as equation 2. Okay, now we are going to find out the derivative of z naught multiplied with w of t. Here, the z naught is a complex quantity. Okay, so this is nothing but your x naught plus iota times of y naught and multiplied with u plus iota times of v, and this has to be differentiated. Okay, so this is what we'll have to do. So when you have to, okay, so we shall multiply these things inside, right? So when you do the multiplication, it is x naught u minus y naught v plus iota times of y naught u plus x naught v, the whole derivative. Okay, so if you here, I have clearly told you people that the z naught is a complex constant. Okay, only u and v are functions. So you will have to remember that x naught and y naught are constant and u and v are functions of t, and this derivative is a derivative with respect to t. Therefore, this becomes what? X naught u minus y naught v whole prime plus iota times of y naught u plus x naught v whole prime. So this is x naught. Actually, this becomes x naught u prime minus y naught v whole prime plus iota times of y naught u prime plus x naught v prime. Since x naught y naught are constants and this derivative affects only the functions u and v, so this becomes x naught u prime minus y naught v prime plus iota times of y naught u prime plus x naught v prime. So this is what we get, right? So using the same ideology, if you revert these things, you can very well see this is x naught plus iota times of y naught multiplied with u prime plus iota times of v prime. So if you observe closely, what happened here? Okay, uh, okay. Let me write this as x naught plus. Okay, this is simply z naught, right? And this is w prime of t. So what we have deduced is that d upon dt of z naught w of t is z naught multiplied with d upon dt of w of t. Okay. When you multiply some scalar and do the differentiation, it is similar to perform the differentiation and then multiplying the scalar. So the same thing we have studied and observed and proved in the course of real analysis. Exactly the same is happening in complex as well. Okay, so this is the ideology that I wanted to tell you people, and I have done. I hope. So next, we'll proceed and explore few more properties. And the next one that we are about to see is d upon dt e to the power z naught t. Okay. Uh, okay. We wish to find out this one, and we here, as usual, your z naught may be written as x naught plus iota times of y naught, and t is the only variable. Okay. So therefore, what you get e power z naught t is e to the power x naught plus iota times of y naught t. This is e to the power x naught t multiplied with e to the power iota y naught t, and this becomes e to the power x naught t, and this is cos y naught t plus iota times of sine y naught t. So when you split this into real and imaginary parts, this is what you are about to get. Right? Now you will have to perform the differentiation. So how to do so? So this is d upon dt of e to the power z naught t. This is e to the power x naught t cosine of y naught t derivative plus iota times of e to the power x naught t sine y naught t derivative. Okay, so I leave the calculations to you people, and finally you can notice that this becomes z naught e to the power z naught t. That is derivative of e to the power z naught t is z naught e to the power z naught t. So here you will have to perform your usual differentiation that is happening in calculus. So that is why I have left it to you people to complete this. Now I would like to make some important observation. So what it is that we have seen the concept of mean value theorem. Okay, so the mean value theorem tells you that if suppose w of t is continuous in a smaller than or equals t smaller than or equals b, Okay, if you have some continuous function in this interval, uh, okay, here it is a complex valued function. If it is continuous, then the component functions u of t and v of t are continuous in the prescribed interval. Okay, actually they are also continuous in a smaller than or equals t smaller than or equals b. Right. So this continuity is well defined, and let us assume further w prime of t exists. Okay. So this is one more assumption that we have made. So when this act exists, we expect that, okay, we have seen some functions and the properties that were true in the calculus of real variables were turning to be true in the case of complex variables as well. So we generally expect that this would be true. Mean value theorem will also hold true for complex variables, but that is not so. Actually, by mean value theorem, w prime at some c is w of b minus w of a upon b minus a. This is what our mean value theorem tells us, right? Okay, here the function that I'm going to consider is, I think, yeah. So I shall make use of this space to complete. Okay, the function that I'm about to consider is e to the power it, where this is the interval. You can very well notice that this function, okay, you people are not able to see this, right? Okay, in this interval, 0 less than or equals t less than or 2 pi, the function that I am considering is e to the power iota times of t. So this is the function that we are considering. Fine. So with this function, okay, you observe this function is continuous in the given interval, and this function is differentiable in the given interval. So we generally expect that we are able to identify some point C such that W of B, that is W of 2 pi minus W of 0 upon 2 pi minus 0. So W of 2 pi means e to the power 2 pi I, that value is 1. Okay. And W of 0, that is also 1 upon 2 pi. So the value is 0. So you'll have to differentiate this quantity and equate it to 0 to find out some value. Okay, when you differentiate this one, you would get equal to 0. So, but this can never happen in this interval. Okay, because if it has to happen, your iota is not minus infinity. Okay, if your actually if your iota times of t is minus infinity, then you would get it this quantity to be 0. But that can never happen in this interval. That is why we come to a conclusion that mean value theorem fails to hold in the complex analysis case. Okay, so this is the agenda for this lecture, and thank you. In the upcoming lecture, we are going to introduce the concept of complex integration. Thank you.